Hey you guys, my name is Meghan Mosakowski and I'm going to be doing a action hour with you all today. I'm so excited to be here. It's an absolute honor to be able to pour into you guys, and I'm hoping that not only will we all get to work our businesses together, but I'm going to, give you some tips into how I work my business on the daily. So I feel like it always takes everybody a couple of minutes to hop on. So while you're hopping on, just let me know where you're coming from in your own little quarantine world. I'm here in New Jersey where things are a little rough, but we're gonna get through it. I've got my half calf afternoon boost to get me through, and if I'm out of breath at any time, I assure you that I'm okay. It's just pregnancy. Hey Kara, nice to meet somebody else from New Jersey, and welcome to everybody hopping on. Something else that you guys can do too, tag a friend, tag your sponsor, tag a coach that you're partnered up with, tag somebody in your downline, your upline. Gotta just share the wealth, Got Tennessee, Colorado, Wisconsin. All right, people are hopping on. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Meghan, like I said. I'm here in New Jersey, and I've been a coach for about 5 years. I'm gonna try to keep this to under 2-3 minutes. I've been coaching for about 5 years, and I was one of those resistant people that got her program on DVD through Amazon, even though I was invited, and slowly kind of worked my way into things. But I was a discount coach for a good 10 months before I actually started to work the business. Super skeptical, super afraid of everything, cared about what everybody thought, and it really took getting incredible results to believe in this, as well as seeing other people on my team who, secretly I was lurking on, have a great time. They were enjoying themselves. They were happy all the time. And I saw other people that I related to that were making a really significant difference, not only in their lives, but financially as well, which was a huge motivator for me. So just a little backstory. I am a registered nurse, ICU nurse, of course. And, that comes with student loan debt, really long hours. I feel like everybody's kind of getting a glimpse into what nursing is like now if you watch the news at all. But it's not an easy job, right? And if you're a nurse or in healthcare, give me a little shout out below. But, I had let a lot of bad habits kind of take control of my life, and, Beachbody, the lifestyle, and the community really helped me, see a different side of pretty much everything. So this has completely transformed my life. And within a year of me, working my business, I was able to, kind of decrease my hours from full-time to part-time. Within another year or so, I went per diem. And I have freedom now. This has completely changed everything for me. And I had my first son 2 years ago, and pregnant with number 2. And I can't even believe, I never even thought that this life I would even have. And I'm basically going to show you guys how I work my business and how I've pretty much attained that. So with that being said, I have worked my business, obviously, through being a full-time nurse, working overtime as a nurse, going through 2 years of infertility, through pregnancy, through postpartum, through a bajillion breastfeeding complications, being pregnant again spontaneously, love how that happens. And I just recently moved despite the coronavirus. So I've worked my business through everything, you guys. Maybe not everything, people obviously go through their own struggles, but I've gone through a decent amount of stuff, and this business has been rock solid, and it's kept me sane. So we are going to work. I'm going to give you some tips. If you guys don't have your business activity tracker, please, please, please use this, whether you're using a tech version, whether you have this printed on paper. I'm very much a pen and paper type of person, but this is crucial to your success. Whatever time you have, and you might not have a lot of time right now. You might be homeschooling your kids. You might be working a bajillion hours if you are an essential worker. Just do the best that you can. But if you do have extra time, do more of this. We heard Ali talk about it on the National Wake Up Call today, but if you have extra time, I would spend the time doing this, not making TikTok videos or, doing silly graphics and things like that. Unless you can easily attain those non-negotiable goals every single month, your focus should be solely on these activities. So a lot of these things, like a lot of the other girls have done with their power hours, you're going to do either before this call or after this call, like drinking your Shakeology, doing your workout, your personal development, and so forth. And our focus today is going to be on this number 2 section. Any questions, drop them below. I have my computer out, so while we're silent, I can kind of answer questions on my computer, or I will kind of roundabout later at the end of the day and answer any questions in the chat. So the first thing that we're going to start with are connections with new people, new followers, finding new followers, etc. And we're going to spend about 10 minutes on this. So something that I've done to kind of tweak my mindset going into this, because I feel like if I'm not having fun with my business, and if my business isn't serving me, just like if my challenge groups aren't serving me, I get bored, I get overwhelmed, and it just becomes a drag, right? And we want our business to be fun. So something that I've tweaked is, instead of starting my process of finding new people or connecting with new people as a prospecting process, I'm solely looking to solve my own problems and fill my own needs. And that makes this more gratifying, rewarding, enjoyable. It's productive. And I've been able to make the more authentic connections that way. So I'm going to give you an example, and I gave this yesterday in a power hour that I did. But instead of, let's just say, looking for people that could use this, which could be so broad. For me, like I said, I'm pregnant. So I'm 21 weeks pregnant. I've gone through this once before. I've been looking and exploring different kinds of new fancy breast pumps. And what I would do is go to that breast pump account page, and there's like an abyss of women who have nothing to do with Beachbody, who are in my exact life phase right now, that I can start having conversations with immediately, authentically, about things that are relevant to my life. For you, that might be the stress of working during COVID-19. It might be the stress of having a spouse that's on the front line. It might be homeschooling your kids, not ripping your hair out with your toddler home all the time. So you have to think of things that specifically relate to you to find things to connect with other women about. And that could be through products, through brands, through hashtags. And if this is one of your first times doing a power hour, you kind of might have that mind block initially. And this does take some market research where you really do have to put some thought into this, which does take time, but we're going to give this like 10 minutes. So think of your problem list. Think of things that are relevant to you right now, and try to just have genuine connections, conversations, and meet new friends that you could potentially just simply talk to. So I'm going to be quiet. I don't have a mute because I'm on my phone, but any questions, I will answer them on my laptop. So guys, one question that I got in the comments was about the 5-3-1 method. And I will say this, every coach does something different. There's so many different ways to do your business. You have to do what feels authentically right for you. And not one thing is gonna work for everybody and vice versa. However, I think it's really important that you work your business the way that you would wanna be treated. And I know whenever I wake up and there's one account that has liked like 20 of my photos, I just get annoyed. I don't even click on them. I want nothing to do with it because it's obvious that they're prospecting me, you know? So I think quality is always better than quantity for me personally. And I know that I have a much better engagement rate and a much better conversation rate, if you will, if I'm truly messaging, commenting with things that are completely individualized and personal to that person in conversation. A lot of times I'll actually wait for that person to get back to me before I follow them because I don't want it to be obvious that I'm prospecting them, but hopefully that makes a little sense. Okay, so we're gonna continue the connecting, but in a different way. So if you are a brand new coach, you're gonna continue to do what you're doing. And if you've enrolled anyone, or not, I take that back. If you have anybody who's like on your like March list or February list, people who have not said yes to you yet, I want you to reconnect with them. Following up to me is a little bit different than connecting, and I want to make sure that I'm always showing people that I'm authentic and genuine, and every time I message them, it's not specifically for that follow-up, if that makes sense. But a message that has been working so well for me, and it's so simple, I will put it in the chat in a second. But it's simply, hey, just wanted to say hi and check in. How have you and your family been holding up through everything that's been going on? I have sent this, I'm literally going through like month to month of people that have just not joined yet. And I've had the most amazing conversations. Some have led into Beachbody, others have not, but people who I would have just assumed would have continued to ghost me have actually responded, and we've had great conversations. So you can do this with people who are on your prospect list or anybody for that matter. But I suggest connecting with people that have been on your previous list. And again, if you're brand new, if you signed up yesterday, kudos for being here. Continue to connect and look for new people. And we'll continue to do this for a couple of minutes. Okay, you guys, so the next thing that we're gonna go into is responding to any new likes, comments, or views. That can apply to any posts that you've done yesterday, the day prior. It could be any of your story polls or question boxes or any of those things that you might do on Instagram. Or sometimes what I like to do too, especially if you're a newer coach, this is a lot easier to do. You can look at your story views from the day before and actually reach out and connect with the people who are engaging and watching you. If you're brand new and don't have anything to really pull from, I would use this time to do a post or throw up some kind of story poll. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I do something that is directly related to this lifestyle or coaching, my likes are like very small. But if I do anything that has to do with life, tons of engagement, right? So things on polls that you can do, maybe saying like, what should I make for dinner? Should I have this or this? I would say outfits, but nobody's going anywhere, so that's not gonna work. But you could always do things that have to do with like decor around the home. What TV shows should I start to binge with? And if you have any ideas, drop them here. But that could be a really easy way for people to engage with you. It doesn't feel intimidating for them. It doesn't feel weird for you, especially if you're new, and you can just start conversations with people, which is everything. I know that we always want to feel like we're talking about the business all the time, which we will do, but a big chunk of my work and business comes from having very simple conversations, which don't actually feel like work. But we're gonna do that for a couple of minutes. Any questions, let me know. All right, guys, so we're gonna move into inviting. Whose favorite thing is inviting? Probably nobody, right? But this is honestly the most important thing. And usually when I'm working my business in the morning, this is the first thing that I do. Normally I'm a 5 a.m. person. I do my workout, I have my recover, and then I do my inviting. I get it over with because I personally don't enjoy it. But usually after my workout in the morning, when everything is quiet and dark, I'm the happiest. I have the most clarity. I can get that most difficult task done. And then throughout the day, I can kind of get back to people in the pockets of time or chaos that I have. So that's how I do things normally. I do think with inviting, number one, you have to have the strongest belief ever that what we're doing is absolutely amazing and everybody needs to do it. If you don't have that belief, inviting is going to be difficult, especially now during what's going on, right? And business to me is not per usual, but effort is. And if anything, effort should be more because we have even more people that need our help, that need our service, that need what we do. And, at the end of the day, we're not selling a product. We're not selling shake weights or, some silly thing. We're literally serving people with the most meaningful solution that can not only change their life today, but could help them down the road. God forbid there is something else that happens, and I think of all of the lives that, that I've seen change, my life that's been changed, and all of the lives that I continue to see change in this network. I want to share this with as many people as possible, and I hope you guys feel the same. So we're going to invite, some tips that I have are type like you talk. If you are trying to write the perfect scripted message, it's going to feel and smell like a script. If your upline has the perfect script, you need to, if you want to use that or take inspiration from that, that's fine, but make it your own. And it should literally read like a text message to your best friend, because that's what's going to come across authentically. Every message that you send, every invite that you send should be authentic. It should be personalized. It should be genuine. And again, quality over quantity. Because sure, you could copy and paste the generic invite that says, do you want to learn more about my groups and team, and send it to 200 people. But if 200 people ignore you, where is that going to get you? So make it personal and think of who you're actually inviting. How is this going to help them? How are you going to help them? And if you're new, be vulnerable, be honest, and share your emotion. If you feel like, oh my goodness, I'm new, I would say that. I remember when I was a new nurse, like, hey, this is my, my first, week, I've never done this before, but, I have so, like, you just be honest with people. It goes so much further than trying to fake it before you make it, if that makes sense. So we're going to do like 10 to 15 minutes for inviting if you guys need anything in the chat, and let's get to it. And one tip that I have too, guys, I think it's really important that you track the amount of invites that you're doing. And what I do tally marks, but I think this is really important too, especially if you're newer, because that gives your mentor some kind of tangible thing to help you if you're having a hard time reaching or exceeding the goals that you're setting for yourself. Because believe it or not, it's not always work harder, right? Like nobody wants to hear that anyway. But different people in the business do different amounts of invites and activities and put different amounts of time into their business. But for you, it might be tweaking a message. Because if you're, let's just say, inviting 30 people a day, maybe it's the message that you're sending that you need to tweak or alter a little bit. Maybe it's how you're finding people and where you're pulling people from that you're inviting. So you can do tally marks on the back of your tracker. What I advise my team to do is to do it on a weekly basis, but it helps me help them try to determine whether it's the quality or the quantity of the work that they're putting in. Because my goal is to help anybody work less and have bigger results, right? And I feel like that's probably everybody's goal. So just something to kind of keep in mind. The other thing that we want to do too, which is super, super, super important, is inviting to the business. So if you're new, it probably feels easier to invite to a challenge group. And my God, we have so many opportunities right now between 10 rounds, everything that, with bar, but we really want to invite specifically to the business. And I've got to be honest with you guys, some of my most successful coaches said no to me or ignored me for a significant amount of time. So don't be afraid of the crickets. Don't be afraid of the no's, but not everybody is just going to know what you do. They're not going to assume correctly. And a lot of times we have to be invited specifically in order to know what it is that person is doing. So whether you're inviting people that you're connecting with, maybe you see a specific reason or need for them to take on coaching, or maybe you're just putting it out there because maybe it's something that they would be interested in. Or if you've been coaching and you have current clients or people who have been using Shakeology for a week or two, free leads, all of these are avenues for you to invite to coaching from, because your best coaches, discount coaches too, are going to come from those really good customers who are getting great results. And, I don't have a magic formula for converting a lot of, let's just say, discount coaches into working coaches, but a lot of my coaches started out as customers who were simply enjoying their discount membership, who saw the value, believed in the value, and then wanted to kind of take it a step further. So we're going to invite to the business for a couple minutes right now. All right, you guys, so we're gonna go into follow-ups right now. Follow-ups, like 90% of my Success Club points every single month. Like this is everything for me. And a couple things. I feel like right now people are super busy. They're super distracted. They're super derailed from their normal everyday routines. So we need to take the emotion out of it. We need to stop assuming that this isn't right for someone or they're going to say no or they can't. We just need to do our job and show people that we're prioritizing them and what we are promising to serve them with. And I feel like, we definitely have to be sensitive. We definitely have to be empathetic. But I feel like me following up is proving to them that I'm going to be a good coach, because there's nothing worse than like inviting somebody and then like never talking to them again because we're, afraid or don't want to, you know what I mean? And I think too, like, now more than ever, I hear coaches that, well, I don't know what's going on and this, that, and the other thing. But I think back to when I was invited, if my coach would have prejudged me as like, oh, like she's a nurse, probably has all this student debt, like she's getting married soon, she's probably paying for a wedding. Like I never even knew what Beachbody was before I was invited, no clue. So if I was prejudged, who knows if I would have ever joined, or who knows if the right person, would have invited me or introduced me to this. So I'd be pretty pissed because this has done a lot for my life. So make sure that you invite, make sure that you follow up like crazy. And just know that it often takes, like for me anyway, like 5 to 10 times of talking to somebody before somebody actually feels comfortable and excited about saying yes. It's very rare that somebody just comes to me and they're like, yes, like I saw your story today for the first time and I'm ready. Or I invite them and they're like, yes, this is my credit card information. Like it just doesn't happen, right? So I feel like you should be aiming for activity and not necessarily the yes. Take the emotion out of it. I've heard a couple of coaches say this and it makes perfect sense, but like we don't get to be God and choose who this is right for. So get excited, hone in your belief, and follow up like crazy for the next couple of minutes. All right, guys, we have a couple minutes left. Something that I think is my favorite thing to do all the time, but more now than ever, is recognition. So go and recognize somebody for doing something, even if it's super small. Whether it's publicly in your stories, whether it's in your posts, whether it's in your team page, your challenge groups. If you are brand new, simply support someone else who's showing up in your challenge group. Because we have no idea what anybody is going through. We have no idea what it's like to be on the inside of anybody's home right now. And so many people are struggling and going through so much. You have no idea the power of just simply saying good job, or thank you for showing up, or you inspire me, or way to go. Like those simple things can really go so far. So take a couple minutes to do some good, spread some joy, and make somebody smile. Okay, and the last thing that we're going to do, especially if you have not done one yet, is a call to action. It's Monday. It's launch day. 10 rounds is available for everyone. So if you haven't done a call to action, do one. If you did one this morning, make sure that you're following up with everybody from that post. Make sure you're talking about it in your stories. And make sure you are literally like shouting the word to everybody and anybody who you may have signed up already. And it could be a really good opportunity for anybody who, let's just say, has joined you over the past couple of months to maybe upgrade and get a completion pack as well. It's an exciting day, and I feel like whenever there's a launch, it kind of gives us a reason to follow up again, to offer them something new, as opposed to just doing like your reach out, like your monthly, you know, follow up, if that makes sense. But it's been about an hour, I think, but thank you guys for having me. So excited to be here. Have a great day. And like I said, if you have more time, just do these vitals over and over and over again. Try not to get tied up in the fluffy stuff or creating fancy things and pretty, like, just do these activities. And I promise you, you will build a substantial, thriving, amazing business that could literally change your life and all of those who you're helping. So good job, everybody. And I will see you guys later.